Hey, this is Carlos Sanchez, PVA captain from the San Francisco chapter, and you're listening to VS Podcast.
Represento a mi bandera, lo grito por donde quiera. Mexicano 100%, no existe ni una barrera. Mucho menos nos separa una frontera. Con papel o sin papeles, yo vivo a mi manera. No me importa en cualquier país. Si el cielo se pone negro, gris. Escuchando a Gerardo Ortiz, celebrando fiestas patrias con dos Génesis. Cantamos mariachi y en acapela. Miramos a diario con los jefes la pinche novela.
Well, amigos, the Pancho Villa's Army, a very special happy Father's Day to all of our members, padres out there who have 1, 2, maybe 10 kids. I mean, there's some of you out there that have a lot of niños out there. Happy Father's Day. And if you also have, fur animals, four-legged animals, dogs, cats, same thing, man. You guys are parents as well. Happy Father's Day to todos. Hopefully you guys are enjoying a good day, enjoying a relaxing day. If you enjoy, cold beers, if you enjoy sports, or if you're just a fan of being lazy, today is your day, man. Enjoy it. Soak it up. Let me tell you a little about my day today. The Suns played. They won. They won the first game of the Western Conference Finals. So good. We're excited for them. But again, watch them. Cold beers, some pizza, some wings, and then doing a podcast right now. So this is definitely a dream Father's Day for me. With that, let's go ahead and introduce our guest today, man. So I have a guest who's he's got two jobs. He's going to be my guest, and he's a co-host. So he's going to be playing dual Rudy, man. But give a warm welcome to our very own captain of San Francisco Battalion, Carlos Sanchez. Carlos, welcome.
Thank you. Happy Father's Day to you, too.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it, dude. It's been, it's one of those days that we don't get a lot of time off. A lot of fathers out there are probably been working and grilling and doing all the work también. It's what happens.
Absolutely.
So thanks for taking the time to join me today, man. I know that, we've been trying to connect and we're actually trying to work on getting a couple other guests, right? But, just for some reason we couldn't align the schedules. But for this one, I thought, hey, you know what? It's still a good opportunity to introduce one of our other captains from the Bay Area. So Carlos, like all of our episodes, tell us a little bit about yourself. I called your origin story.
Yeah, thank you. Man, 4 years ago, we decided to jump in and start a chapter here in San Francisco. We thought it was important to be represented in the Bay Area. And literally, man, I just called up El Coronel and I was like, hey, man, we want to be a part of PVA. And he just said, hey, come down, because they had a game here in San Francisco. And said, gather some of your friends, come up with a logo and start having fun. And so 4 years ago, this whole thing started. We didn't know it was going to grow like this. And we've had so much fun, man. We've met so many people. Our love for the game has grown. We've learned so much. And it's something super exciting and super cool to do.
Man, that's amazing, bro. So 4 years ago, just starting it off. So where are you guys at right now? How many total, consistent, members do you have that you're constantly, hanging out and doing things with?
Yeah, so it fluctuates, but there's solid 5 people. My younger brother, Emmanuel, Juanito, and then we have Tony, who are constantly, we when we don't throw parties, we get together. We kind of go to each other's houses. I know their girlfriends. They're my boys pretty much, all the decisions that we make are in unity, I'm the captain, but in reality, we all make decisions, logo wise is what we're going to do. We have a chat and we kind of we all have decisions, we all make decisions for the club. So it's 5 people, but in any good day, man, like Copa Hora, we gather more than 80 people in one place. Yeah, so it's there's never a lack of donations, never lack of parties, there's never lack of just anything that any club has. If we say, hey, we need money for a manta or for drums or whatever, we're represented. So, and we have the cool thing about San Francisco, unlike maybe not other chapters, we have people that are not Mexican that come with us. Centroamericanos. We have one of my best friends, Mark, who's he's white from San Jose. He's a big supporter of the club. I have other friends that come over and they say, hey, as long as they're not playing the U.S. national team, we'll support Mexico, So and then of course the girlfriends come that are not even Mexicans, they could be Asians, whatever. But so it's a good mixture, it's fun, it's interesting.
That's awesome, bro. And I think on your site, right? And actually, let me just pull it up real quick, dude. Let's pull up your Instagram. I think there's a picture. Is it the four of you probably in this picture, dude? And I know Juanito. I think we had him actually do a video for Charlene Corral. He asked her a question. That was pretty cool. So here, pulling it up right now. Are these the ones you're talking about?
Yeah. It. So the guy on the left, all the way on the left, that's my younger brother Emmanuel. He's the one that we kind of just started this, came out with the logo and everything. And behind him is Tony. Tony is one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. He loves to drink. He loves to party. He's so cool, man, that when he travels for work, when he's away, he literally will call the bar we're at and he'll send us beer. You know, he'll send a bucket, he'll send us like whatever. And then, you know, Juanito all the way on the right. Without Juanito, there's no party. He brings the drums. He's super passionate about soccer. You know, like if we have a cookout, they come to my house, we can literally talk about soccer all 4 hours, you know, that we're together. Very passionate guys, but don't get it twisted. Like people often say that, you know, because they come to my apartment and we talk, we do podcasts or we just watch a soccer game. They think that we're exclusive, but we love everybody. You know, all you have to do is spend time like they do, and you're part of the captaincy. You know, you're part of the leadership in PVA San Francisco. But this is the core of PVSF.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah, and I see that, you know, take a look at some of the photos. I know that we put that in when we introduced you, but you know, again, it's really cool how much you've expanded over the 4 years and the amount of influence you guys have done for not only, of course, PVA in California, but the San Francisco Bay Area. Man, that's a place that I can tell you, man, I can go there anytime and there's something new to do. That's such an amazing town. How long have you been in San Francisco now?
So I came here when I was 7 years old from Puebla, Mexico. So I'm 42 now. Well, 35, I like to say, but 42.
I feel at 35.
Yeah. So pretty much all my life, you know, I've lived in Baltimore, New York, in Ohio, in Europe. I've always come back here, man. Like you said it, like it's such an amazing place, you know. It's beautiful. I mean, you find everybody living in such a small place. People don't realize this. It's only 7 miles by 7 miles, right? But everybody's kind of living together. Neighborhoods are different. The food is unbelievable. I don't think there's any other place in the world where there's so much amazing, delicious food so close by, you know?
Yeah.
So culture-wise, it's ridiculous.
No, dude, I mean, I can definitely attest to that, man. I think there's food from all over the world. I mean, just, you don't even have to drive. I mean, you can literally walk and enjoy. You know, you're in different parts of the town. But that's awesome, bro. So you said you're originally from Puebla, though, right? Yeah,
I was born in Puebla, in Mexico, and then my father migrated to the U.S. because of, you know, it is what it is. So he came over, and then we followed, and he lived in San Francisco. So we landed in San Francisco, and what a blessing that was, man. Like, and I say blessing because like I've had the pleasure of traveling quite a bit, and I always come back to San Francisco, you know, and I always realize how beautiful it is. Not when I was younger, but, you know, you realize how amazing the city is for its people, its culture, everything that it's gone through. Like things that happen in the U.S. have to come to San Francisco or LA, right? Like that's just it. Like I'll tell you a funny story, man. I was in Paris 2 years ago, and I couldn't get a cab to my hostel. I didn't want to get a cab. I wanted to jump on one of those motorcycles and, you know, go to my hostel, but it was dangerous. So the cops were like, nah, I don't do it. Anyway. Long story short, I wait in line, I get in the cab, and I have my San Francisco hat. I'm always representing the city. And the cab driver's like, what does SF mean, you know? And I go, San Francisco Giants. And I said, he's like, you're from California? I said, yeah. I said, the most beautiful city in the world. And the guy literally stopped the cab, and he turned around, and he said in his broken English, you do realize you're in Paris, right? So I was like, okay, yeah, maybe Paris is
second biggest.
Yeah, but... you know, we're unique, you know, we're, you know, we have a little everything for such a small city, but I come to realize, man, like, not because I live here, but San Francisco is beautiful, man. And every state and everything you can think of, San Francisco has got it, you know, and it's, thank God we don't have hot weather, otherwise we would be in Miami or San Diego, you know, but no, I love the fog, I love the Warriors, I love everything that has to do with the Bay, man. Like, I'm so proud of the Bay, like, it's ridiculous. And everybody from the chapter is the same way, you know. Juanito, Tony, we all rep the Bay hard. You know, they might like another team, football team, but at the end, it's home. You know, like, and I know LA has the same thing. I know other states have the same thing, but I think we go a little bit overboard. You know, because we're such, we just trend on things, like we don't really look outside. We're kind of snobby in that way, we're kind of like San Francisco, so we're super proud. And that translates over to PVASF, we literally think we're the coolest because we're in San Francisco.
Hey man, you know what? You gotta come up with, you gotta feel that way, dude. I mean, if you're representing your city, you have that pride, and plus more than anything, dude. I mean, it's hard to compete with the San Francisco because I mean, first of all, yes, it's beautiful. The weather, the food, the culture. But man, I mean, you guys have to hustle to be able to live in that beautiful city, dude. It's not cheap, bro.
No. I mean, to go out, you're spending between parking and a meal with, let's say you go out with your lady, you're dropping $80-$100 a day, like just in like 2-3 hours,
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it has its downs and ups, but it's home, so it's not like I can say I want to get out of here, I want to move away. Nah.
No, I mean, there's a reason why you're still there, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's worth it to be able to pay that, that not only the luxury of living there, because it's one of a kind, bro. Like it blows your mind.
We always complain, right? But like today, like we've had 3 beautiful days, and when I drive down and I see the downtown, I see the bridge, I literally tell myself, this is why it's worth it. This is why. Or I go to the park and I see all nationalities just walking by, dating each other and stuff, and I'm like, this is why this is so worth it. It's just that this is why it's amazing. This is why I pay half, of my salary and rent for a shitty small place.
That's good. Hey, but you know what? Again, that's where you have to make those adjustments, and it's what you pay for to be in such a wonderful place. You talked about, again, 4 years ago, meeting up with Coronet, just getting started. The solid 4 core of you making things happen there. But you did mention, we talked earlier, before the podcast, and you kind of told me that it wasn't like soccer wasn't like your first love, your first sport, right? Like it was kind of later on in your life when you finally realized that your passion and your love for soccer.
Yeah. So, when I was younger, of course, like in Puebla, my dad took us to the stadium, and I had a connection there. But living in the States, it was always like baseball, like in middle school and elementary is baseball. And then as I grew up, I started swimming and running track and started playing rugby. And so soccer was never like my thing, it was I kind of looked down on it, as an immigrant. I was like, whatever, But as I grew older in 1994, I had my first real experience with my dad. He had a cookout and he was watching Mexico versus El Salvador. And I strictly remember going, wow, why is everybody so interested in this, Yeah. And after that game, I literally started reading the newspapers. I'm very technical and passionate, so whatever I find, I grind on it, man. Like I'm in 100%. I'm all in or nothing, right? And so I remember started reading the papers and going to my dad and asking him questions, and I was like, oh, so we're represented by the Mexican team? Like, what the, this is great, blah, blah. So I started going on that, and the World Cup came in, and this is how bad it is. It's kind of embarrassing. My mom had won tickets on the radio station to watch. I think it was Brazil versus, I don't know, Korea or Nigeria, one of these teams. And none of my brothers wanted to go. So she took her niece to the stadium in Stanford. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, can you imagine? Like a World Cup game, and I was like, nah, I'll stay home.
I'm not interested.
Yeah. But from there, like my passion grew, and like it exploded, man. Like I went to college and I followed, it's a different story, but I've literally followed the Mexican national team, and I can say all over, South America, Japan, I've been, to Mexico, Canada, whatever. Like I just became very passionate. And then I realized there's nothing better than enjoying watching it with other Mexican people or people that like the national team. So, I mean, I had a trip to Argentina when I was younger, and I managed to go to La Bombonera. And I think the tickets were like $2, and it was against Rosarito. And I remember they're like, hey, you pay $2, you'll sit with the crowd with like what they call the popular. Uh-huh. And I was like, yeah, I wanted me to sing in there. Like I didn't have no idea what it was, Yeah. So I went to the stadium, and I couldn't believe the passion. Like it stank, it bred, like the people knew everything from like a original shirt and like a fake, and not only that, but the singing and the constant jumping. And I was like, Dios mío, we can have this for the Mexican team. We'd be world champions, you know?
Yeah, right.
And it was, I didn't understand how the away team would sing and they would respond and instantly. And I was like, wow, like I want that. So I came back to San Francisco and I had this idea. I was just a kid, you know, but I followed Pachuca and I was like, they had one of the first barras in Mexico. And I was like, I want that. That's what I want. I want to support hardcore. Like, I want to support push. I want all my boys to come out, get drunk, and just support like in unison. So I became very passionate, man.
Yeah.
I did a manta for the first time when El Salvador came and played Mexico in Candlestick in 94, 95.
Okay.
And since that day, man, I'm all about like, you know, flares, humo, las mantas,
Just
support.
todo, man.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm very religiously, I get up, man, and I read about soccer.
Yeah.
I read about soccer, rugby, and boxing, but I can tell you who slept with who got sold in the Mexican. Like I only follow two leagues, yeah, the Premier and the Mexican League, and I really don't have any time for anything else. And I can tell you the players from Puebla all the way down to Club America, who's sleeping with who got transferred where, who got kicked out, who's no longer a team, who's homeless now, blah blah blah. You know, that's how much.
You're really all in. Like it's basically, do you basically consume it both, you know, online, you have your sources, but you also probably like, you know, radio, pod, all this stuff. Everything.
If there's 6 games one Sunday, bro, I'm watching all 6 of them. Like, I just want to watch the green pitch, and I want to see soccer.
Well, yeah, dude, it's a lot of energy, like you said, dude. I don't think you would have, you know, you have time for anything else, you know.
No,
I mean,
no.
I think, you know, the team, you know, I know that San Francisco doesn't have an MLS team, but you know, the San Jose is nearby. But even then, dude, I mean, I can imagine it's, you know, your time is so freaking consumed by everything else. It's hard.
And we talk about that with Juanito because he's from San Jose and he supports the San Jose Earthquakes. And it's not like we put him down or anything, but I literally say, hey, man, I honestly don't have time to like.
Yeah.
And I'm so San Francisco that I don't see myself supporting another city. Like I just don't do that, you know. So, but
it's hard.
It is consumption, and you definitely need a lot of energy to be a captain of PVA. Any captain runs it. I know there's a lot that goes into it, you know, and you have to be super passionate and just you have to live for it, you know. And I think I'm in the right place when I say that I'm blessed to be able to watch games with my boys all the time, you know, and just enjoy that.
I know the LA game is coming up here, right? 4th of July weekend. I can just imagine the amount of energy that's going to come from all of our members, dude, especially all in California, dude. I mean, I've seen other members getting shuttle buses and just starting to, you know, caravan to go out there, dude. It's going to go, dude, it's going to be probably one of them, you know, out of this year so far, because we had some pretty good turnout. This one's going to be by far the blowout one.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I can imagine you have guys going and you guys are planning, but it's gonna be nuts, dude. Especially after that loss that just hurts thinking about it. I think we're gonna have a lot of energy to burn because of that last game también, you know.
Absolutely.
So, speaking of that, dude, I mean, we can transition, but before we transition actually into more of that, dude, you did mention Liga MX and how you really consume yourself in that. So is Puebla your team? Is that where you're from?
Yeah.
Is that your team?
So funny story with that. You know, when I was a kid, my dad took us to Puebla versus Club America in Estadio Cuauhtémoc. So I'm a kid, you know, and I still don't grasp the whole thing, but my dad's super excited. He supports Puebla. Obviously, I support Puebla as well. I was born there, and my dad supports Puebla. But my younger brother loves Club America, and I never understood that way. But anyway, so
nobody understood that.
Halftime, Puebla's getting destroyed. I think it was 2-0 halftime, and my dad takes us out, and he's like, I'm going to buy some stickers and shirts and whatever. And so my brother gets a Club America sticker, and I wanted a Puebla sticker, but they didn't have any stickers left. So they gave me, they had, you know, all the teams, and I remember I saw the Club Pachuca sticker, and I said, Dad, can I get this? And he's like, yeah, but that's Pachuca, you know, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I want this. So being a kid, you know, I put that on my bed. And for some reason, I started liking Club Pachuca, you know? And since that day, I've been a hardcore Pachuca supporter. I mean, I'm telling you, like, when they won La Copa Sudamericana, I was in tears, bro. And I lived in Baltimore at the time, and I remember I got super drunk, and I was by myself, and
Yeah.
You know, I bought every single shirt. I've gone to the Pachuca Stadium, you know, plenty of times, and like just like I told you earlier, like I'm 100% when I'm invested. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, that nasty girlfriend that needs the love all the time, and I'm always like paying attention. So yeah, I support Puebla and I support Pachuca.
That's awesome.
Not a lot of fun because they've gone to second division a lot of
A lot of
more
heartache
tears.
too.
Yeah, more than anything. So, but you know, those are my loves. From the Premier League, I'm a Liverpool supporter, huge Liverpool supporter.
Oh, so you and Coronel are best friends, man.
Oh
That
yeah,
guy, that guy can't stop talking about him, man. That's
yeah,
his team.
yeah. So that's how we linked up as well. I used to go to I've been to Anfield a couple of times. I'm not pretty well known, but I between supporter clubs in Liverpool, like I'm the Mexican Liverpoolian. You know, I don't think after Mexican MX teams, there's nothing more that I love than Liverpool. You know, and it's just one of those things that the team kind of chooses you. You know, when you have people ask you, how come you like you know, Barcelona and stuff, and people go, I don't know, because of Ronaldo, whatever. You know, I have my deep roots in Liverpool.
Yeah.
So yeah, so those are the teams that you know, like I die for pretty much.
Yeah, no, it's so true, man. A lot of times, you know, we don't, you know, it's probably different for all of us, right? But there is some kind of connection somehow. And I mean, yours was, or Pachuca was a sticker, right? And then you
Yeah.
started with a sticker, and then you just connected with them. You know, like growing up, you know, for me, it was definitely the teams that were big. You know, like I said, I was, and I keep saying, and people give me a hard time for this because I was a 49er fan growing up.
Nice.
And you know, again, because of Montana, because in Rice and Young, and they were just freaking awesome, man. They were just amazing teams. But then the same thing with the Bulls and everything. You know, that you kind of follow those teams because they have the best athletes, the best players. But there is definitely some connection when you find something even more in common, right? Like it's not your typical the popular team. So for me, I think for the EPL team, I didn't have a team until Chicharito went there, and then of course I became a Manchester United fan. But I know, sorry, man. Again, Coronel gives me a hard time, but that's how it is, man. We got an origin story somehow. It could be worse. I could be an America fan, but I'm not.
Yeah, no, don't go that low.
But that's so cool that you're Pachuca. Yeah, we just had, Briz Mata. She's a big supporter as well. I mean, I think she even records her going to all the matches. And again, Pachuca had a great outing this time around. They had a lot of upsets, dude. And I was pulling for them and Cruz Azul throughout the whole, after the Chivas exited quickly. But again, good. What did you think about the Cruz Azul victory? Were you cheering for them? Were you against them? What were your thoughts in the final?
I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. Like I was so happy, even though Juanito's gonna kill me when he hears this because he's from Santos. But I was just so happy for them. What they've gone through as an institution. I mean, when I was a kid, I saw them win, and they were the big team, against Necaxa and all this, the finals in the Azteca that were just mental. And I know what they mean for Mexico City. That's a big club, bro. Like, La Máquina is one of the OG clubs in Mexico City. So I was rooting for them, even though my heart was like, I hope Juanito's happy and they win. But this last final, man, this was amazing for me because I had Puebla, Pachuca, Cruz Azul at the end, and Santos. So like 4 teams that I actually like. So at the end, when I was watching the final with my brothers, I was literally in tears going, this is the beauty of soccer, because if Santos wins, good for them. They came back, but if Cruz Azul wins, what a story, right? Like, what an amazing story. So it was amazing. Good for them. They wanted it, they needed it, and I hope they can repeat again. They still have a good team, man, and a lot of young prospects on that team. For everybody from Santi, I'm a big fan of him. I hope he comes up and he can replicate some of what his dad did. But I mean, he's also wants to play for Mexico, so that's a good thing. And I think he's got potential. So I hope they get more minutes in Cruz Azul. But yeah, what a great story. This final was amazing. It was good. It made a lot of people happy. The only thing, the only thing is that we're not going to shut these guys up for another torneo, but. Bragging rights.
Yeah, they own it for now until the next torneo, and we'll see what happens. But to your point, man, they still have a solid core team, and unless something crazy happens with injuries and out of something that just throws it off, if they continue that you got to watch out. They can be a powerhouse for a while. But yeah, again, that's exciting stuff. I mean, now again, let's just go back to now the La Selección, dude. So we just had a couple matches to start off the year. Finally able to see fans in the stadiums. It's coming back to normal. But the Selección this year has been spotty, bro. And then of course, I don't know. I felt like they were building momentum before the last friendlies and leading up to this year. But dude, it's I don't know. What are your thoughts of the current state of La Selección, man? What do you think?
It's so crazy because I'm not even, this is going to sound like I'm snobby, but I always feel like when the U.S. is doing good, it fluctuates and we do bad. And that's what it is, like for some reason, if you look at what we did the last 4 years, we humiliated the U.S., right? Yeah. And now, so I had that feeling. And also the fact that we're getting older as a national team. We're getting really old. I mean, you have Guardado, you have our defense is kind of old. And that's one of the things that's always affected the national team, like the defense and the midfield. At this last game, we lost the midfield at the second half, which means that players are getting tired. We cannot keep up with the momentum. There's not that much creativity. I mean, Guardado is not going to make it to the World Cup. And he was the little engine that could, right? And so who would you put in as a replacement for him? We don't have anybody that can take that position. We have people, but we don't have anybody in Guardado's caliber. Yeah. We don't have anybody, a Marcus who can, dictate the defense and just with his presence, scare people off or be tough. And we don't have that midfield. We don't have, statistics reading wise, the left side is where most of the goals for the national team come from. Our left is kind of like if the left players get injured, who are you going to replace it with? I look down the list and it's like the Olympic team better kick some serious butt this Olympic, and we better push some of these kids over because we don't have players, And with that, I don't want to get into too much drama in here, but I'm not a fan of bringing Funes Mori into the national team, He is naturalizado. I believe that we have enough talent in Mexico to bring somebody. He's not doing good. He has a bad spell with Monterrey. If he was top scorer the last 2 seasons, a tipo de Guiñac, I'd be like, hey, by all means, thank you for joining us. But Chicharito's better than him.
And that's what I was gonna say. That sounds like your team Chicharito, right? I'm with you there, man. I think like, why are we giving up on him? Yeah. But dude, Chicharito is funny, dude. He's like the all-time goal scorer. He's earned the respect, right? But I feel like he still gets disrespected. Like people quickly forget, bro.
That's the Mexican in us, right? Like I don't know if you ever read Octavio Paz, but he wrote a book about just trashing Mexicans, but in a positive way. I call it trashing, but he more explains how Mexicans are born, and that's our thing, right? We're very like if we see like a foreigner come into Mexico, we're like, oh, welcome, oh, the foreigner, blah blah, and it's almost that you can almost translate that into like being submissive, but no, we're just very like, oh, el foráneo, he's great, oh, he likes our tortillas, he likes our tacos, but on our own Mexican people, we're like, that vato, that's weird, Yeah. But if you think about it, with everything that Chicharito's done, I mean, people forget he's been to Real Madrid. He's won the Premier League. I mean, he's done some amazing, crazy stuff. Yeah. But we forget that as soon as he becomes a little diva, we forget that, and that's just we're very tough. We're very tough. I mean, I love soccer so much, football. Para mí, like we saw Moreno and Herrera and Tecatito. I mean, Juanito was on that conversation. But if I would have seen him the first time, I would have said was like, you guys are gods to me. Son dioses. Thank you for everything that you've done. I mean, I would have had I'd probably cry, But that's because I think I've had the pleasure of living soccer in Europe, in South America, where it's different. But, and those South Americans, they would hardly ever insult their own players, Like, I'll give you an example. So, Messi sings the national anthem, and he's kind of like, get me out of here. I lived all my life in Barcelona, in Spain. I don't have this connection. But they would never insult them as much as we would. There's a Mexican player that missed a penalty, and we pound on them. you know, you idiot, he sucks, get him out of here, un tronco, no sirve. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, bro, like.
You forget everything else he did.
Yeah.
You forget all the goals he
Yeah.
scored. And that's how I felt about Guardado, dude. Honestly, I was like, oh, man, I was heartbroken. But at the same time, I'm like, you know, it could have happened to anybody, right?
Yeah.
And I think for that penalty, I believe he played it safe. You know, dude, looking at that goalie, that goalie was tall, dude. That goalie can literally. I was like, you got to go for those angles, dude. You can't like. Oh man, that was heartbroken. But to the point, right? A lot of Mexicanos are probably like, get him out. He's no good, right? It's like, dude, do you forget about this guy? He's a principito, dude. This guy has freaking miles, man. This guy's been through a lot.
He gave up his life to go to Europe.
Yeah.
All his life and just he's probably one of the proudest. Remember when Jürgen Damm scored that goal against Honduras and he took the shirt off and Guardado went over and picked up the shirt. He's like, no, don't ever throw the shirt. Like, that's how passionate.
He's a captain. He's a captain.
Yeah.
He teaches the young guys. Yeah, man. Dude, it's one of those things. But to your point, I think this is definitely one of those times. And it's funny, you're catching a pattern. I agree. Time where Mexico is king and rules, and then the U.S. gets a spell, and then we do. Honestly, I hope that's not the case. I hope it's not a changing of the guards for the CONCACAF. But you know, I think Mexico needs to put the pilas on, dude. And you mentioned there was, you know, the kind of the center is the area that we're lacking, dude. I think was really just the goal, dude. We weren't able.
Yeah.
But maybe to your point, the center was not helping feed the ball to get the positions of goal. But honestly, I think it's because of Jimenez out. You know, putting Chucky. I know Chucky is talented and he can do a lot, but honestly, he's a temporary 9. I don't think he's gonna be. He's a solution there. He's gonna be more of a disruptor, you know, on the sides and his speed and all that. So I feel like, you know, Jimenez comes back and hopefully he comes back because, you know, we don't know yet. We haven't seen him play in his recovery, but yeah, man, we have to find those goals, dude. We haven't found a goal yet, man.
I'm gonna add one more thing to that. So I'm all about numbers, man. Like, I'm very analytical. I track numbers down. Like, it's almost like baseball. So the national team, Mexico is one of the teams in the world that has more possession than anybody else, right? We love possession. We'll control the ball. We can lose games but have more possession. When that possession number goes down, we do bad, really bad. Our last 3 games, our possession has been going down and down and down. And that means that we're more open. We create more opportunities, which has been happening, right? Because we created so many opportunities, we just couldn't score. But that's the trend that I'm looking at. I don't want to be that guy that tells you this, but we are going to struggle if we continue with this during the World Cup qualifier.
Yeah.
So, just write it down. When you're putting money down or anything, just be like, oh, you know what, Carlos, he told me that we're going to struggle. But it looks like that's going to happen. But hopefully not. I'm just looking at.
But there's hope. There's hope. I mean, what you're saying, right? It's like right now, if we continue the same pattern, yes, right. But if we can find a way to continue, you know, go back to possession that we have, recover the center, but then we'll start to connect more, right? And really find that good mix. But yeah,
I want Mexico to win every single game, even if it's a marble game. I want Mexico to win, but sometimes numbers don't lie, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard to beat it though, man. You know what? Because as we know, possession does not win games. I mean, you see, you know, that's all. But you see a trend with Mexico, and that usually helps them out. It's a big indicator. All right, man. Well, you know, let's transition into, you know, you talked about other sports that you enjoy as well, you know, before soccer, and now you're all in. But, you know, one of the sports that you mentioned, which is interesting, that stood out to me. I don't know a lot of rugby fans, right? Usually when I think of rugby, I think of somebody like in South Africa, Australia, even the UK, right? You know, Europe, you know, and overseas. I know that there's fans here in the U.S., you know, and all that, but not to the caliber, right, of you see overseas. So how did you get connected with that, man? Tell me about like your love.
So, you know, living in the Bay Area, the first interaction I ever had with rugby was in the park. We were playing soccer, and I literally saw these huge dudes just running, and I was like, it was my dad. I was with my dad, and I said, what is that? He's with rugby. He was like, oh, you know, I was probably like 14, 13. And so, long story short, my brother played football in high school, and I couldn't make the team. And so they said, oh, for those of you that run, because I was in the track team, and they said, for you guys that run, there's a rugby. They were trying to make a rugby league in high school. And they said, you can try out for the rugby team. So I went, I tried out. You know, they take everybody in rugby because you need people, you know. So they took me in, and I liked it. But that was just like I didn't play any games. I just kind of learned how to throw the ball, and that was it. Fast forward a couple of years, and I'm in college, and I met this Irish girl. And during the summer, we had a thing. And she goes back to Ireland, and we're like, puppy love and whatever. And she says, you should try to come over to Ireland. And so I talked to the department, and they said, well, there's no real programming. That's cool. But if you try out for the rugby team, we can send you out there with a little bit of money. So all I had to do was say I play rugby, and they took me. And next thing you know, I'm flying to Ireland on a 1-year visa to go to school, to be with this girl and play rugby. So, I was very, I was strong, I was young, and so I'm reading in the library, blah, blah, about rugby before, because I had 2 months before school started. So I'm reading, watching videos, and literally I show up to the field, and they're like, at the time it was interesting because a Canadian guy showed up, and the guy from New Zealand and me. And so the word in the college was that they were hiring international, So there's this Kiwi who's, 6'6", 350 pounds, this Canadian who's 6'2", and then there's me who I'm 5'8", and, 250 pounds and can run like a bullet. So we're feared, and, Ireland, it's like Mexico, it's a farming country, Catholic, heavy drinking, good times.
Yeah,
and so I started, so they used to call me the bullet because I would just grab the ball, close my eyes, and ram myself into whatever is possible. So I started excelling in rugby, I started doing good. I made it to a traveling team, and that was, became my love because, I was doing good in the sport that really Mexicans don't play rugby, and everywhere that I went to, and here's a funny story. Being in Ireland was so amazing that one day we had my first game was the derby between, I was living in a city called Westmeath Mullingar, and Longford was the next town over. So there was a big rivalry between those two towns. So my first game, I joined the local team, and I had to play against that game. I got my ass kicked on that game. I mean, literally destroyed. I mean, I had cuts on my head. I was all bruised up. I got hit once. Anyway, it's customary that the winning team takes out or invites the other team over to their house and gets some drunks and they cook food for them and a big camaraderie, right?
Yeah.
So after that, we drank, we partied, then we go out to a club, and once everybody's drunk, a fight breaks out between the two teams. And I'm not talking about like a push each other. Yeah, like not like two guys going. I'm talking about like our 50 boys, 50 boys. We're going at it. I mean, the police came and they couldn't stop it, and the police jumped into one of the phone booths just so he wouldn't get like beat up, right?
Wow.
So this is going on, and some big boys and stuff, and nobody messed with me. Not one person threw a punch at me because I thought I was different, so nobody knew how I was going to react. So that was the thing, like nobody ever messed with me. Like
that's crazy. It's like being in the middle of a collision, but you're in the middle and they all go around you.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy, man.
So that was amazing, and I have hundreds of stories about that. But yeah, imagine yourself going to like another country where they've never seen a person of color, mind you, a brown kid, right? Yeah. So I was like a movie star. Like I would go to the gym, work out, and the kids would literally come and watch me work out like at midnight. And they're like, I go running. Here's another story. I used to get up in the morning and go running, right? And with my little shorts and stuff. And I would go to the bar afterwards or the restaurants, and the women would come up to me and say, "How'd you get those legs so tan? How is your whole body tan?" And I was like,
yeah. Oh, cool. They're all curious. They're like, yeah. Hey, I mean, all the same color. What's going on?
I'm like, this is how I came out of the factory.
So you went from the nickname the Bullet to then the bar fight. You went to the Untouchable, and then you went to the bar with the women to the I'm very touchable. Like
Yeah, my numbers definitely went up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the different evolutions there of your story there. That's cool, man. Again, like you said, yeah, there's not many, honestly, that are rugby players. I have a coworker that is Mexicano también, and he currently plays rugby just for fun.
Yeah.
So you're the second, Mexicano that I know that's into rugby.
Tony is also a rugby player. So now
That's cool.
there's more, so we talk about rugby and stuff. And actually, in my Instagram page, on the PVA page, we have one of our friends who plays for the Mexican national team. Big dude, just very strong.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Again, another sport, dude, that a lot of people didn't even know about, or maybe they hear, but it's not something, dude. So maybe some are gonna be like you were with soccer in '94, right? They're gonna go all in and do research and find everything about rugby. But we also had a conversation earlier too, before the pod, man, that there are you do connect, and you do a lot still. You're very connected with rugby still, and there are some members or people that you talk to, right, in the rugby community that you try to get them into also PVA and stuff, but there's been a couple conversations that happened. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on there?
Yeah. So real quick, when I came back from Europe, I got older, and I joined a local team here in San Francisco. It's called the SF, and it's a gay team that plays in the gay league in San Francisco. And so, cool story, man. The guy who actually started the club, Mark Bingham, he was killed on the flight from San Francisco to New York on September 11.
Oh, wow.
So when he died, so I wanted to play, one of my last clubs, I wanted to play for something, San Francisco, something that represents the city. And I thought a gay club would be, something real representative of San Francisco.
Yeah.
So I joined the team, literally made hundreds of friends during my first, when I joined the team. And there's a lot of Mexican Americans who play for that team. And so, I know everybody is open-minded and everybody has different opinions about things, but I'm in a position where in San Francisco, we have that opportunity to be represented and loved by everybody, and I'm blessed like that because I grew up knowing, Samoans, Blacks, Chinese, Japanese, gays, lesbians, friends who are just of different backgrounds. And so as we're getting more stronger and popular with PVA, I wanted to introduce my PVA friends with the Chicano gay community in San Francisco. And so I invited a couple of people over, and they were like, yeah, because not that they like soccer, but they were like, hey, that looks fun. Want to come over, get drunk, enjoy the Mexican national team. But during the last invite that we had, they were telling me that they didn't feel comfortable with the whole puto chant that we have. And it's a very sad thing because nobody should feel uncomfortable in their own city. Nobody should feel like they can't go to an event, a bar, a restaurant, in your own city. So it impacted me hard because it makes me upset. It makes me upset that there are still people that feel that way towards other people. Now, before we even get into this, I know that that word is part of our language, part of our lexicon, part of whatever you want to call it. But if we are told that it hurts people, that's it, right? I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Growing up, we used to make gay jokes, and there was, we weren't politically correct when it came to things. But as we all grow, we need to, because as Mexicanos, Chicanos, Latinos, we demand respect as well, right, from other people, right?
Totally.
If somebody is making fun of us, we're like, hey, man,
we gotta stand
don't
up.
make fun of. Yeah. So that's what we did shit again, and we should be like, hey, this is affecting other people. There's not even pissing off people. It's affecting other people, right? People that are neighbors, family. Let's not do that. Cut it out. So
no, that word doesn't define us to, to get to a point where we're willing to, first of all, other people are offended, right? To be okay with that. Second of all, also, it shouldn't affect us in any form or fashion. Like if we stop saying that word, nothing's gonna happen to us, right? We're still the same. It's not a word that, that defines what Mexican is. That is not what Mexican is. Now, I love what you said though, to your point. Yes, I understand we grew up in a culture where it was, unfortunately it was very common, and it's not something we're proud of, but guess what? Every culture has things in our past that we're not happy or proud of. But the thing about it, just because it's in our past and it's something that we grew up with, doesn't make it right. Right. We need to get past that. And I think, you being in San Francisco, where it's just, again, that's why another amazing part of San Francisco is that it just has such a good You know, it's just such a good population of so many cultures, and everybody just gets along, right? And you can feel it, right? I mean, what's the tagline there, right? Leave your about your heart. What is something? What is that called?
I left my heart in San Francisco.
Yeah, dude, because you definitely feel it, dude. You feel the love there, and the fact that they were concerned about that, that's another example that people are offended by it, people are hurt by it, people don't feel comfortable, because of that, and we want to stop that, man. I mean, that's the point. That's the point, right?
That's so. One more thing, like, and that's what we pride on in PVSF, because people ask us, like, what do you need to be in PVS? We do have like a rule book that we've been created, but we don't push it hard on people.
Yeah.
And we literally say, respect the national anthem when it's playing, respect your people, everybody's around you, and literally anybody can join us, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we have a guy from Guatemala who loves Mexico.
Yeah.
So when he comes over, I give a little pep talk before and say, hey, we're having a guy coming from Central America. Please do not make him uncomfortable. People from other gangs come over, and other gangs. Not that I'm in a gang, but like different gangs. They say, hey, I'm from this neighborhood. Can I come down? I'm like, look, man, we're coming here on one common ground. We're supporting the Mexican national team.
Yeah.
Leave that shit out of here.
100%.
And I want my boys to come out from rugby. I want whoever they are, whatever their sexual preferences, I want them to come out and enjoy the game like I do.
Yeah.
Be friends with everybody. And so our goal for this year, or my goal is to make sure that they feel comfortable. Make sure I can get them to one game at least.
Yeah.
Make sure they come dressed as a woman if they want to. Come half naked if you want. But make sure.
I hear San Francisco is legal, right? You can literally walk around naked in San Francisco.
The only thing that changed, people were saying that maybe wearing underwear because you're sitting in a public place and whatever, but I love that's what I love.
Sanitation.
Yeah, that you want to taint your pubes blue, you can, and show them off, you can, and that's okay. I mean, I've been to clubs where I've seen weird stuff going down, and it's okay. Live your life and
live your life, dude. And that's one of the one of my mantras, or one of my philosophies that I live by is don't be judgmental, just be curious. Like, be curious, understand them, get to know people, talk to them, because that's where we default to, is judgment, being judged. Oh, what are they wearing, what are they doing here, what is this? Like, no, dude, that's not gonna help us as PVA members, but us as a culture, as a community, dude. I think, again, I feel that we're on the right path. We're getting there. Not 100%, but these conversations that we're having, these stories that you're sharing with us, is going to bring that awareness to say, hey, dude, it's got to stop. And then people are going to argue and do that. I understand we can't change everybody's mind, but if we can change one or two right now because of this episode, that's a win.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, again, shout out to that group. I mean, to your team. What's the name of the rugby team?
SF Fog, FOG, like the fog that comes in every day.
Oh, sweet, man.
So I'm gonna, go ahead.
I'll say we're gonna definitely support them as well, man. Cheer them on, and definitely shout out to that team for sure.
Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, man. Time does fly when we're having a good conversation, and this won't be the last for sure, man. We'll definitely get together one day in person, and like I said, I was in San Francisco not too long ago. If I would have known, I would have hit you up. But you know what? That's not my last time going out there. So we'll definitely connect one day and just have some more amazing conversations. I'd like to, end with any final thoughts or shout outs, anything that you're working on, special projects that you wanna mention.
Yeah. So I want to give, of course, shout out to Emmanuel, Tony, Juanito, Ray Coca, who is, I don't know if you met him, but he's one of our members who's one of the craziest guys I've ever met in my life. Super interesting, super polite. Everybody from PVSF who comes out, definitely the SFOG, everybody in San Francisco that supports us. We are currently, working on the caravan that we're taking down to LA for the LA game. We're painting Las Mantas and we're getting drums ready and all that stuff. And we're also, I want to push a website that I'm doing. It's called Support IT, Support It. And what it is I'm in the IT world, and what I want to do is I want to donate 10 hours a week, helping out people with their IT needs free of charge. whatever they need, just all the people that need their phone set up, internet, the cameras, installation of printers, whatever. Just because I want to give back to my community because San Francisco's giving me so much, man. And I love my city and I want to help out everybody that's around. Also, if you want to join PVA San Francisco, all you have to do is you don't have to text me or call me or email me. You have to just show up, ask for Karma. That's my nickname, Karma. And I'll buy you your first drink. Just say, hey, I heard that you're Karma. You're buying everybody, new member, a new drink. I'll buy you a drink. I'll introduce you to the whole crowd. And you'll have a family of 40, 50 people, in less than one day.
Nice, bro. Hey, better take up on that offer, man. That's such a cool, sweet deal, bro.
For sure. And next time you're in San Francisco, man, hit me up. I'll take you around, places. I know there's a spot downtown where it's a music venue, but there's a speakeasy underground. And there's a mural that says Baghdad by the Bay, and there's actual bullet shots of a fight that happened there. Yeah, it's so unique, bro. It's so unique.
Dude, I love speak. I love history. I love speak. I love cocktails.
Yeah.
So you add history and cocktails. Sign me up, man. And
I'll take you, man.
Heck yeah, dude. Underground, passwords, all. Dude, I geek out. My goal one day is to have a house with a hidden compartment where you move a book or something and you go. It's but then people are gonna think weird. What do you have back there? You know, what's your secrets? Dude. So that's cool. So support IT, and again, that's something that you're working on just to help pay it forward.
Yeah, I'm pushing the website in a month, and it's just going to be 10 hours. People can book me, and it's free of charge. I'm doing level 1 support, so nothing too crazy, programming and stuff. But I want to do just help out anybody that needs any IT support.
That's cool.
If I have time, I'll help you out.
And you know what? I mean, especially in our community, right? There's a lot of think about it with the pandemic, and we hear a lot of these underserved communities that just these kids couldn't go to school or didn't have the resources or even the connectivity. Dude, it's so cool that you're offering that up. And if more and more people do that, again, another one, I mean, that's just amazing, dude. So thank you for that.
Right on, man. Right on. Oh, don't forget Dan Man from Australia, British guy. You probably met him. Super cool dude. We sent him a PVA shirt. He's sworn loyalty to PVASF. Big shout out to him. He loves Mexican soccer. He's a big Chivas supporter. The guy knows a lot. The only problem is he's an Arsenal fan, but it's okay. Not everybody's perfect. But yeah, shout out to Dan, man.
Dan the man. Yeah, dude, we had him in one of our episodes. He was that was fun to get him in too because of the time zone. We're actually getting another Mexico member that lives in Australia that Dan connected with.
Nice.
We're trying to get him on again, but dude, that time zone kills us, bro. It's
Yeah,
I always call him, dude. When I call him, I'm like, dude, you're calling from the future because it's already Monday and we're Sunday.
Dude.
You're crazy.
12 hours ahead.
Yeah, bro. So that's cool. Hey, shout out to Dan. Dan, again, you have another big fan here, dude. I mean, definitely, you're definitely a member of PVA. We're just waiting for you to start a chapter up there, dude. Where's Australia PVA, bro? I mean, that's we're waining for that.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So again, Carlos, thank you for this opportunity, man. I know that we're trying to get some of your rugby community to come in and talk to us, but they're busy. Hey, next time if they're available, we'd like to talk to them and chat with them. But I think our goal, right, have them go to one game, let them know, hey, this is who we are. We're here with open arms. We're accepting of everybody, dude. It doesn't matter the country that you represent, the team you support, and of course, your preference, of whatever your lifestyle. It doesn't matter. We definitely open you with we'll have you with open arms. So again, thank you. Great conversation. Again, it's Zargento here from hot, sunny, freaking hell, Arizona. To the Bay Area where it's fresh, it smells, and it's just the foods. Once again, hasta luego, amigos. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Be in touch.
Que historia para contar y hay un chingo de estrellas difícil para terminar y la banda norteño nos enfiestamos son las 3 de la mañana y no paramos la cerveza en la hielera la enfriamos y aunque lleguen los azules. Right on, man. Thank you for sharing that, bro.
Yeah. Thank you. It was fun.
Yeah. Dan, so you've been Dan's the biggest fan of PVA in Mexico. It's crazy, dude.
I don't even know how that happened. British guy in Australia supporting Chivas. Loving the Mexican national team. Oh, there's another guy. I don't know if you've seen him. He's French. He's always posting stuff, tagging me on PVASF. He's French, Ukrainian French, lives in Paris. Super supportive of national team.
Yeah.
And he
Send me over his info, dude. Send me those info.